Hey there, it's 327, stardate 327, 2020. Okay, that, we can obviously tell who a picture of that is. And I'm sorry about the last one because I was doing it from inside of my vehicle and the automatic focusing was getting a reverb off of the windshield, which I couldn't get the focus properly. So we couldn't see what that said and what that is. Picture of Saturn and this. Okay. Now, let me. There's a better picture. Excuse me. Can somebody explain to me what that's supposed to mean? Because obviously, I'm not into that shit. Never paid attention to this kind of crap too much. I have viewed it a few times. And I'm going to go back to the smaller picture now. All right. This was going to be a little better for me. So, from what I'm looking at, hold on, I'm grabbing something. All right. All this is some kind of a language, because these people that are sick involved in what's been going on in this, all the crap that's been sucking bloods and drinking blood and all this bullshit that is in this yucky fucking group of people, which you'd know who I'm talking about if you've been following any of it. The horns, the flowers, the pot leaf coming out of the ear, the blood coming out of the eye, the arrow sticking in her hand into her mouth, all this and the little, it looks like a cloud, I guess, and more pot leaves, and always hurting. What is it? This is a message to other people that can read this because these people don't communicate, so they don't get caught over the airways. So they do things, and there's no name who put this up there. And if anybody wants to call Lamar, and that's Billboard 1801, and ask them who put that up there, that might be a good idea to see who paid them to put that up there, and that'll tell us what's going on too. And that would give us another indication of where it's coming from, the source. And if not, then that's another boogeyman in the boogie woogie doo in the corner there, in the voodoo who. So, how about that? Check it out. Make your comments. I'm very interested in what other people have to say. Circulate it around. I'm real curious of comments. If anybody knows anything, start talking. We'd like to know. We'd like to hear about it. We would love to hear about it. Wouldn't we? Something's crazy going on. Yes, it really is. We know it is. We all feel it in our guts. It's starting to settle in, and the mind is starting to question what the reality around us is really happening, aren't we? Yes, we're not so scared. The fear. What is fear? Remember, we're all going to die, one way or another, virus or not. Remember, man has killed more men and women than anything other than that. And that's a fact. Or we wouldn't be here. Remember that. And the biggest murderers are people in government. We should never forget that. That's historical fact. That's actually historical truth. And we've always come to realize the very people that we thought we could trust, that we put our trust in, failed us in the long run. We look back in history. We must not forget these things. They always seize the moment in the most direst times, so-called, in the most crisis times, and then in the long run we found out that they were the heaviest murdering hand of them all. And unfortunately, a lot of us help them, thinking that we're doing the right thing. And that's the saddest part. And let me remind you, I've always reminded everybody, you're not, just because you did, you thought, you took an oath or whatever, if you do the dirty work, following orders, you're just as guilty as the person that told you to do it, if not worse. Remember that, because you actually committed the act. So, crimes are crimes. And we don't want to look at it that way. Well, I was just doing what I was told. I was serving my country. I was being a patriot. I'm not knocking people for wanting to protect their country and this and that. There's no doubt about that. But again, when we look back in history, it was those very people like us, me and you. I'm not knocking. I'm not picking on anybody. I could be the same thing. Thank goodness I won't allow myself to be used like that. You don't have to. I mean, maybe we should do a little training, all of us, so that if in the event that our own country was attacked, we could know how to defend ourselves. That's an absolute. And yes, America is an empire. Look what it's done, and look what we are. Right? Nothing's changed. It's like the things that we can do and the material around us. And we've changed the names of things. But realistically, if you look at the function of how things really work, are we really that much better off than we really were? I mean, if you really think about it. We're still being corralled, like right now. And we jumped at it out of fear that we can't really verify whatever this invisible enemy that they're saying called a virus. And I'm not saying there isn't one that isn't doing what they're saying, but it's quite obvious we can see that they're seizing the moment for their own gains, more draconian laws. I mean, our fear is their Viagra, man. Do you know that? Our fear is their Viagra. And they're getting off big freaking time right now. I mean, it's personally, if you ask me, and it's not that I don't care about other people or anything, but I would take my chances with a fucking nasty virus than the criminals at the helm. I mean, it's not debatable. I don't know why we all keep debating it, and it's not who or what. They're all just, let's all look at it this way, right? Especially right now. They're all in it together, aren't they? And who's going to come out on top of this again, ladies and gentlemen? Who's still going to be the beneficiaries of all of this that's going on? Who's going to benefit from this, ultimately? Because in crisis, somebody still benefits. Right? Right. During even the Depression, there was made millionaires off of the backs of people losing their shit. And it's the same groups, the same people that swoop it all back up. The same fucking clique that's going on. Virus or not, we're still dealing with criminals, and we shouldn't forget that out of our fear. And we shouldn't trust them one bit. I'm dead serious. Every day that goes by, it smells more like shit to me.